Welcome to Central Valley Today, everybody. I'm Alex Delgado.
And I'm Stephanie Bainham. Thank you so much for your time on this TGIF. It's always nice to get to Friday and start off the weekend. And we're going to actually start off today's show with something that many people don't like talking about, but it's something that we're all going to experience: grief.
That's right. Grief is very real. And whether it's over a parent, a partner, a pet, a friend, there are tips that you can use to help handle your grief. And here to share those tips with us today, Dr. Jasmine Singh from UCSF Fresno. It's good to have you back, Doctor.
Thank you for having me back. I'm well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How come people maybe don't understand what grief is, and why is it so hard to cope with that fact that you have to grieve?
So grief is actually very complex because it is a very natural response to any type of loss. Most notably, it's known for the loss of a person, but there could be various types of losses: a breakup, a loss of a job, loss of a certain aspect of your identity. So these losses that we will all go through inevitably cause emotional changes, and we have to recognize them and be aware of them, and until we recognize them, allow them, we can't handle them in an appropriate way.
I don't think our culture is good at grief. You know, we're good at a lot of things, but I don't think we are good at talking about it, knowing how to handle it. Do you find with your patients that people kind of just put it off or think they shouldn't feel it and then it just gets worse?
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. They put it off. There is this concept of, I should be over it. I should be over it. I shouldn't be emotional about this loss. And I think that's just silly. I mean, especially in the case of losing a person, someone, you know, who you love, an object of your affection. How can you not have emotions when that loss has gone? So I think that grief is very important. We should recognize it. We should help others who are grieving and allow the process to occur.
So I'm assuming people grieve differently.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of grief over the young man who we just lost at Old Fig, Nick Calls, and a lot of his peers and classmates were grieving, but obviously also his mother, an unimaginable grief, I imagine. So how does a mother grieve differently than, let's say, friends of Nick's?
Well, first of all, my condolences to the family and friends of the student who passed. I can only imagine, I cannot imagine what the mother is going through. Everyone grieves differently, whether or not they're close to someone or very kind of distant. Everyone has their own process. This goes down to the various stressor, the various grief, the person, and their own personality. Someone's response may be to just fully experience it initially, while others may want to just recoil and be on their own, especially when something is just very raw and fresh like this incident. And in the early stages of something so traumatic happening, allow yourself to express what you feel, do what feels right. If you want to be around others, be around others. If your instinct is to be on your own, be on your own. Allow yourself space and time to feel what you need to feel. Now, this can happen for some time, but if you find it becoming a different picture, meaning if the grief is becoming more depression, if you are unable to do basic life necessities like eat on time, sleep on time, if you're unable to do that and you really find the grief becoming something else, then maybe it's time to consider other options like treatment, mental health treatment of some sort. But in the early stages, allow yourself to feel it, express it, and allow the natural process to occur.
Yeah. I love in your tips for handling grief, you say literally cry. You do physical things like cry and deep breathing. What else do you find in your tips is helpful?
I find that the most important thing is to accept your reaction to what has happened, allow yourself to feel it, and also, when the time is right, talk to people. Don't suffer alone. Let others know what you're feeling. Reach out to your family and friends if you have certain needs and someone is very adept at fulfilling such a thing. Maybe someone is an excellent cook and you don't have food at home and you aren't able to eat on time. Ask your friend for help. No one is going to judge you or think you're weak. You're going through something very painful, and the more we accept it as a society that we are hurting when such a loss occurs, the more we can accept our pain, accept other people's pain, and help each other.
Yeah.
Well said.
And as friends, that's what we want. We probably
Yes.
would appreciate that person asking us to do something for them, because sometimes all we can do is sit back and go, tell me what to do, how can I help? So how can we react as a friend, as a family member, and what do you say to make this person that's going through horrible grief feel better, if that's possible?
Yes, many people struggle with what's the right thing to say. I wish I had the one right thing to say to every single person, but I think first and foremost, practical issues need to be tackled. I ask my patients' friends, are you eating? Are you sleeping? Are you showering? You know, practical self-care life stuff first. How can you be fighting your emotions and handling them if you're physically not okay? So I think that handling first the physical aspect of things is very important. And secondly, what to say. I'm here for you.
I'm here.
I'm here for you. And that is just very powerful, and you can keep reminding them I'm here for you, and hopefully that other person feels comfortable enough to share what they need, what they want, and how you can help them.
Yes. Well, I think this has been so helpful and so insightful, and hopefully I know other people in the community feel so too. So thank you, Doctor, for being on today, and please follow her on Instagram, the Jazzy Doc, for more information.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Doctor. See you soon.
See you soon.
Coming up, from grief to wellness, we are talking to another doctor, this time about